Right. Thank you everybody for joining our monthly module series here with the Community Partner Outreach Program at Oregon Health Authority. Today we're going to be talking about the Getting Started Guide. It would be useful if you have a copy of it, but it's not absolutely necessary. What we're going to be doing today is providing for you a little scavenger hunt to have you hunt for and search for information in this guide. Many of you may have seen this guide before because we give it out at the trainings. However, it has been recently updated and revamped. It has new materials in it that were not in it in the past, and even resources that were in the Getting Started Guide in the past have been updated, such as the Client Advocacy Guide, the OHP cheat sheet, and other resources. So we really hope that everybody finds something useful in today's presentation. Thank you for being here. Today, we want to make sure that everybody has a copy of the most updated Getting Started Guide, and we ask that you also share it with your teams. If you've already created a resource binder, then what we'd like you to do is take all of the pages from that resource binder from the past Getting Started Guide and replace them with this one. If you don't have a resource binder, we really recommend that you create one. You might not have been able to do it in time for today, which is fine, but the materials you would need are a 1/2 or 1 inch 3-ring notebook and about 25 page protectors. Then you print your Getting Started Guide in color, you insert them into the page protectors, and if I were sharing my screen and if I were sharing my video, you would see me flipping through my personal Getting Started Guide and resource binder, which I use all the time because there's no way I can remember everything. So this is my place where all that knowledge lives, and it has a nice handy table of contents, which we'll walk you through. And we're going to practice using your guide today by going on a little scavenger hunt with it. So let's do this. Here are just some reminders about the materials for your resource binder. What we'd also hope you would do is that as time goes on and your CPOP program and your ROC give you more materials, or your team gives you more materials, that you keep adding those to your resource binder. Mine is 1/2 inch thick. It's a 1/2 inch 3-ring binder. It is totally full to the brim. I need to upgrade to a 1 inch now, and eventually yours will get there too. Right. The first thing we wanted to point out is a few good resources for new assisters. So if you have any new assisters on your team, or if you are a brand new certified assister, we wanted to point these out. It's on pages 5 and 6. The first one is the OHP application cheat sheet, and I will actually bring it up here. And that cheat sheet, whoops, it seems to have disappeared. I'm going to have to go, nope, here we go. So we're going to open this up, and you will see that you have a table of contents. Can everybody see my Getting Started Guide? Great. You'll see that you have a table of contents that is 2 pages, and you can see where all the resources are. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see it. And I'm going to go straight to page, we're going to have you search for things in a minute, but I'm going to go straight to, is it page 5 or resource 5? Let's see. Right here, it's page 5, the OHP application cheat sheet. This is something we put together so new assisters can look at this right before they do an application appointment or have an application appointment to make sure they've sort of checked off the boxes of all the things to take care of and all the things to think about. So we're not going to go through the details of that, but please share that with anybody new that's coming onto your team. The next thing that might be helpful for anybody new is a guide and a list of information to bring to an application appointment, whether it's in person or you're helping somebody over the phone. These are the pieces of information they will need to have handy and accessible to have a complete and successful application appointment with you so that you can minimize the need to follow up. If you have new assisters on your team, please share this with them. If this is new to you, you might want to consider getting it to clients before they meet with you when possible. It might make that process easier. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go back to the presentation, and we're going to go on a little scavenger hunt. So everybody please pull up your Getting Started Guide. And we've made this a little bit easier for you, I'll be honest. We've walked through linearly the different pages of the Getting Started Guide in order, just in the interest of time. We're not making it too hard. So what I would invite everybody to do right now is look at the first question, which is, let's say that you're having trouble with the secure email server. Look at your Getting Started guide, figure out which resource you would use to answer the question of who do you reach out to. So I'd like you all to put your question, or rather put your answer into the questions box, please. Whenever we ask a question here, there's about 15 questions to get you oriented to the Getting Started guide. And let's make sure that you can see the proper slide. Great, so I see one person found who to reach out to if they're having trouble with the secure email server. And excellent. Okay, so the answer is the OIS service desk. OIS.servicedesk@DHS/OHA. So there's also a phone number you can call, and it is right. You know, it's funny. It's hard for me to toggle back and forth, but I'm going to toggle anyway. We did not put screenshots of this. Maybe we should have. Learning for next time. So right here, how to set up a secure email. It also gives you information about who to reach out to if you have any trouble with that. Okay, next question for the scavenger hunt is, you find a form, maybe it's the consent form or any other form with a form number on the bottom right-hand side, and you find it on GroupSite because that's where you happen to be looking, but you're wondering, is this the most recent version? You worry it might be outdated. So where do you look for the latest version of that form to make sure you have the absolute newest version? Kind of a little hint there, I guess, with the instructions, but if anybody can type into the questions box. Okay, somebody said the Oregon.gov forms page, and it is called the forms server. We've put the link to it here, and you can also just type in to your search box OHA DHS forms server. So it is a very handy resource. In fact, I'm wondering if I should take you there so you know what it looks like. So I'm going to go to the form server. I'm going to do what I often do, which is I say OHA DHS forms server. That's how I get to it. It's always the first link right there. Shared systems, DHS, OHA. You look here, you can type in your form such as 6610, which is the consent form. And you can find that form number at the bottom of all of our publications. And once you click search, you will find that it will be here in all of the languages that we offer it in, and there are often multiple pages. So you can find your consent form in any of the available languages by doing just that. All right. Next, a client is pended for an interview, and their notice says to call the customer service center to schedule an interview. But is there a different number they could call if they're ready to do their interview right now? So I'd like you all to look in your Getting Started guide. I'm going to also ask, let's see. I'm going to ask, I see somebody is saying that their guide is saying something different. And so I'm actually going to ask Jessica, who I know is on this webinar. I'm going to call upon you, my friend, to help on the back end. I'm going to go and make you an organizer, if you don't mind, and help sort this out. So thank you, Jessica, in advance for letting me ask you to help. All right. Excellent. So that's right. There is a special number to call for the interviews, and it is the 833 number, and it can be found in your Getting Started guide on the resource for Guide to DHS Non-Magi Interviews. It's an 833-710-1020. Right, the next one is, how do you access a secure email that has already been sent to the processing center? So you've already sent a secure email advocating for information or action on a case. And now you need to pull up that email again. What do you need to do so that you can access previously sent emails? I'll give you a hint. This is on your client advocacy guide. And how do you access a secure email already sent to the processing center? I do want to make sure everybody has the most updated version of the Getting Started guide. It looks like there might be more than one version floating out there. I have uploaded what I think is the most recent version to this, to the handouts of this webinar. I certainly hope we do have version issues. So thank you, Jessica, for helping us sort out if we need to do any version updates here. You guys are right. You copy yourself to the email or contact your ROC. So actually, contact your ROC is not going to help. What you need to do, and it's in the client advocacy guide part of your Getting Started guide. You need to copy yourself on all the emails that you send to, let's find it up here. Client advocacy guide. Right here, keep a copy of sent messages by copying yourself on each email you send, because once you send an email, you cannot access it again in the secure server. So you can get on top of that and take care of it and have a record of everything you have sent. Excellent. Next. If you have an urgent email for the Oregon.benefits team, is there an email template that you can use so that you know it's getting addressed quickly and that you're giving them all the information they need to take care of the task that you're asking? If you have an urgent email for the Oregon.benefits email team, is there an email template to use? And where do you find it? What page can you find it in your Getting Started guide? What page? So you guys should be answering with a number. Okay, and we're going to go look it up. And this client advocacy guide right here, it's called now the Client Advocacy Guide and Email Template. Our processing team has asked us to please use this email template. So we've added a third page to the Client Advocacy Guide. Please use this suggested template for emails. It includes a subject line, which of course you do not put any client identifying information. I hope we all know that because the subject line is not secure. For the email body, it's pretty specific. And in fact, there's a new request, which is to put a summary of requests at the very top. It turns out that when we use the secure email server, sometimes it adds a whole bunch of space between paragraphs. And so letting the workers know right up front what is needed lets them know that they need to look for more information down below. And something else you should know that somebody's pointing out in the questions box, thank you, is that emails expire after 30 days. So if you receive a secure email, it will not live in perpetuity like it would in your Outlook or in your Gmail. It will expire and go away after 30 days, so you do need to stay on top of those secure emails. All right, and now we're going to go back to our scavenger hunt. A client asks if income guidelines for OHP are published somewhere. Do we have income guidelines that you can provide to a client, to an Oregonian, that is consumer friendly and you are free to share? What can you provide? Can you please tell me what page of your Getting Started guide you might find a resource to share with clients when they ask about income guidelines for OHP? All right, let's take a look. Income eligibility guide for OHP and QHP. This is the very policy wonky version that we publish at OHA. I do not recommend this one for clients. So you are correct. For those of you who said page 13, that is the black and yellow one. It is published by the Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace. It's available in English and Spanish, and it is consumer friendly, designed for the public. This is the one you should share, and we provide a link right here to take you to it. I recommend everybody bookmark that and have it handy. You can also create print copies if you're meeting with people in person or for when you are meeting with people in person. This is the chart that you should share. I don't think it's very useful to share the blue and orange one. That is for more advanced assisters who know the system well and are looking for a bit of more detailed information. But this black and yellow one is very shareable. So please be aware of that and share it widely. Right, the next question. A client asks if alimony that they are paying to a partner is a deductible OHP expense. Do you put that in deductions? And is it counted as a deduction? Where do you find that answer? And what is the answer? Is alimony a deductible OHP expense? I'm going to give you a moment to look that up. And I'll go back here. We'll hunt it down. Is alimony a paid expense? Oh, look at that. Modified adjusted income under the Affordable Care Act. We have income that is included in MAGI equations and deductions that are included in MAGI equations. What does it say about alimony? Oh, that's interesting. It's a little nuanced. It says that alimony paid is a deductible expense if the divorce was finalized before January 1st, 2019. So that's good to know. You can find some pretty detailed information in here, and this is actually a fairly good resource for MAGI OHP, and it's there's a lot of fine print here, but the fine print is also very useful. I think they only made it fine print because they didn't have enough room to put it in full-size font on the paper, but I find it just as useful as the main print. So please become familiar with this resource and know that it's there to answer a lot of your questions. Of course, all income and deductions need to be reported. Not all of it is counted for all programs, so this helps answer those questions. Right, next. If you want to establish consent to help a client for more than 1 year, you'll notice that our consent form defaults and it says this form is only valid for 1 year unless otherwise specified. So where can you give permission to help longer? So if you want to be able to help that client for the next 4 years, for example, and not have to call in a year for their renewal and be told you can't help them because that 1 year has expired, where do you change that? Right, Norma, excellent. Looks like Kelly found it as well. So it is page 15, number 15, apparently. It's the form 6610. It's on the consent form, and we give you some guidance to that in the Getting Started guide. So let's move to that. Whoops, what happened there? Let's move down here. Here it is, the consent form. All the way at the bottom here, we have it outlined in blue. This authorization is valid for 1 year from the date of signing unless otherwise specified here. And you can put a future date. That can be 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or you can indicate in perpetuity by writing in something like 12/31/2099. So that is where you can make sure you can continue to help somebody beyond the 1 year point. Excellent. What's our next question? All right, let's change that there. Mom lives with child and has custody. Dad lives separately, but dad is applying for OHP benefits for the child. When dad is applying for the child, but he doesn't live with the child, whose information is needed on the medical application? For example, he might say, do I need mom's income information if I'm applying for this child? Where would you find an answer to that question? So you can, again, look in your table of contents, right? This is the kind of thing where you might not even know that this resource is in there, but you might think to yourself, I wonder if the Getting Started guide answers that. So we're going to go up here to the table of contents and we're going to say, let's see. I'm going to peruse our resources. Oh, look at that. Custody arrangements and OHP, page 17. Cool. Let's go to page 17. Oh, look at that. Custody arrangements. It even says here, let's see, parent 1 and child live together. Nope, this is parent. Oh yeah, parent 1 and child live together. If parent 2 applies, what information does parent 2 need to provide? Oh, look at that. Parent 2 must provide parent 1's household financial and non-financial information. All right, you need to prepare for that. So this is one of the new resources that we've put into the Getting Started guide to help you navigate some of those custody arrangements. All right, number 10. A client asks for a guide to OHP coverage. Of course, it's a health benefit package. Do they get some sort of guide to that? What is a good resource that you can give them? Do you know what it is? Do you have it handy? Again, we can go back to our Getting Started guide. We can go to page 1 and 2, our table of contents. Oh, look at that. The Oregon Health Plan Quick Start Guide on page 18. Let's take a look at that. That's what it looks like. We have a guide to it. It's even a form number, 2628. So what you could do is you could go to the form server and you could see what languages it's in. Let's look it up. 2628. And we see that it's available in a variety of languages. So we want to make sure you all know that that is a resource and that we have a link to it there for easy access. All right, 2 more things to hunt down. Let's say you would like to provide the real D questions, those 16 questions about race, ethnicity, language, and disability, and you're working with a Burmese speaker. You would like them to be able to answer those questions, but you really don't know how to provide them in Burmese. Where would you look for this resource? I'm looking in the questions box here. Okay, I think some of you are finding it on a page. We're going to go back to the Getting Started guide. And in fact, the next page here is, actually, nope, we're skipping over that one for right now. Race, ethnicity, language, and disability. It's form 0074. Burmese, though, that is not one of the standard languages that we translate things into. However, if you wanted to see if something is available in a language like that, you can go back to your publications page, your form server, and you can type it in. And I did want to point this one out specifically because we do have the Real D questionnaire available in many languages. You'll see there are 13 pages of languages, and in fact, Burmese is there. So please know that that particular resource is widely available in more languages than most of our resources. And we do, in this new Getting Started guide that we have created, we don't just provide that resource, we actually give you some background on what it is. And of course, there's always the form number at the bottom, and we have the guidance in the beginning about how to access the forms server. So we want to make sure that everything is available to you. All right, last question. I want to assist somebody who speaks Swahili, and my interpretation service at my organization is not available today, or maybe I don't have one. I heard that OHP offers interpretation for when I can't access my own or if I don't have interpretation services. What browser do I need to access interpretation services for one applications? What browser do I need? All right. I think you guys have found it. You have said, here it is. So Voyant is the name of our interpretation service. It is available to the processing center, and we've extended its use and availability to community partners if they don't have access to their own. And it does take primarily Chrome, but also you can use Edge. So it's kind of limited, which is why I wanted to point it out. And we have a whole, oh, there was a Q&A. Where's the Q&A? There it is. using the Voyant's language interpretation services for OHP application assistance. Here's some Q&A for you, but I also want to point out that right here, this login, that is not an example. This is actually your login and password information for all community partners. And then we track which languages community partners use. So those are the resources that we wanted to share with you today. And we hope you found some interesting information in there, either for yourself or to pass on to your teams. So what we'd like you to do now is consider creating a resource binder, or if you already have one, replace it with the new version of the Getting Started Guide. Because then when you're working with clients and colleagues, you can appear organized, even if you aren't. And you will have all that information at your fingertips. I love my guide. I hope you love it too. I hope this was helpful to understand what is in the revised version of the guide. And we want to thank you for all of the work that you do and for all the assistance that you offer to the community. And with that, we will say thank you and then take questions in just a moment. So we can stop the recording now.